What is going on, everybody? My name is Japes. Welcome back to another episode in my path to power. I hope the weekend league has treated you well. The original intent was for me to be out of town for the weekend, but I came down with a pretty bad cold on Friday. Yes, a real cold, fever and all. So I ended up staying in town and just completed my games thanks to whatever happened with the EA servers. They extended it for a day, and I'm happy to say, using only the 3-4-2-1, we managed Elite 2. If my finishing was a bit better, and I didn't DC, Elite 1 was in our sights. Now, I first want to give a big shout out and a big up to EA because they were transparent, said our servers were having issues, and we are going to extend the weekend league, which is great. Very well done. A little bit of a golf clap for them. But back onto Path to Power. And I did say we were going to try to get EPs up over the weekend, but obviously then you start playing those games and, well, all time that's spent for FIFA ends up being spent on the games and blah, 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 blah. You know, same old story. So here we are on Monday, and we're looking to pick up Robert Lewandowski. I also want to say thank you for those of you guys that have tried out the old 3-4-2-1. I will do a video, kind of a quick review of my weekend league team from this past one on what I thought of the players that I used coming up here. And when I say quick minutes, I didn't record any of the gameplay from the weekend, so I'm going to just run through the players, what I paid for them. Now, I didn't play all the games with this team. I was using a similar team to what you're seeing on the screen right now originally, and then I switched over to a BPL side. I actually, and this is the first time you are going to hear this from me in potentially any FIFA ever, I actually think that the Premier League players this year are kind of worth it. There are a lot of gems, a lot of really, really great players. On the topic of that, if you guys have earned the RIP in the middle Payet, the blue Payet that's the Squad Builder Challenge right now, if you guys have used him and like him, leave a comment and let me know. Right now I'm tossing around the idea of going out to get that card because I do have a first owner Paul Pogba on my main account, and it would allow just for a lot of nice links and a lot of nice hybrids. So it's something that I'm considering. But as we continue trying to build this team, we're going out to get Naby Keita because I thought it'd be fun to throw out another inform for you guys. A lot of people have said he's like Conte Jr. I don't think that's quite the case. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. He's got high medium work rates. Conte, I believe, is medium high. So there's definitely a difference in there, and it's very apparent for me. Although with that said, I put him in my more attack-oriented spot in the 3-4-2-1. So if you guys don't remember, one of my CMs I have stay back while attacking, and the other one I just leave unbalanced. So I used him as the one unbalanced because a lot of people have said his finishing is actually pretty decent for a CM. So I thought, sure, why not? I like decent finishing. We all do. He's also not as good as Renato Sanchez for anybody debating on whether or not a 78, I think he's 78 rated player is actually worth the 12 to 15K or 10 to 15K, whatever he is now. The answer is yes, he is definitely worth that. For my Premier League team that I used in the weekend league, I used Moussa Dembele in that role. And I still prefer Renato Sanchez. When I hit the 60th minute or 70th minute in many of those games, I brought Renato Sanchez on because he just destroys a midfield. He just bombs around everywhere, and he just is ridiculous. He is a very, very hard player to replace. He and N'Golo Kante are similar-ish type players to me, even though their stats are a little bit different. They serve the same purpose in a team, and this year you most definitely need that type of player in your squad. So finally pick up Naby Keita. Wanted to slow it down just so you guys see kind of my process when I'm building these teams for you. I don't want to spend like outrageous amounts of time trying to get open bids and like waiting when I have time set aside to record for Path to Power. Then I want those players then, and I want them, I want to be able to get into games and try them out, because this is my first time using some of these players too. Sometimes for Path to Power, I'll try some of the players out on my main account to begin with. And if I really like them, I'm like, yeah, that one's got to be used. And you'll see a striker from the Premier League that I've used on my main account appearing in Path to Power 100%. I thought he was really, really solid. That man, you'll learn a little bit more about in the future. Some of you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, which is @AirJapes, you'll know who I'm talking about, because I tweeted out my Premier League weekend league team, and obviously his picture's in there, so that makes it a good bit easier to know who I'm talking about. But for those of you guys that just like to tune into Path to Power, you'll get a full review on him in my quick little squad review. Which also, on the topic of squad reviews, I've been debating tossing around having you guys build teams for me and giving me the custom tactics and everything, and then me trying to go out and play with them and doing kind of like user squad reviews. Giving you what I think or what I like, what I don't like. I wanted to leave this in here because I've never seen this message before in my entire time on FIFA. My batteries died as I was going into the game, and I was like, did EA just try to like ban me? I haven't done anything wrong. It was just my Xbox controller being disconnected. So I ran over, grabbed some batteries, and we'll get back into it in a second. But how did you guys do in the weekend league? And those of you guys that were bold enough to use the 3-4-2-1 in the weekend league, how did it work out for you? I am extremely curious. Yes, I found that I can be susceptible to counterattacks, especially with the 4-1-2-1-2. I found the narrow version, especially if they had their instructions set on drift wide and get in behind for the strikers, or maybe you can't do both of those. I don't know. And stay forward on the attacking mid, but some combination of those, I found that is where my team could be exploited, especially if it was someone who did like a ratty tactic and went with a 4-3-2-1 or something and switched to a 4-1-2-1-2. So it was, Gareth Bale and Ronaldo as strikers with, so on and so forth. I don't like that. I'm not a huge fan of the build a squad and then instant switch the formation in game. I feel like you should be, I could do something like that with the 3-4-2-1, right? I could build out a squad, get some of those. It would allow me to get some of the good left backs or right backs in as my outside mids and then switch to it in game. But it's annoying. You have to go through and change everything. And maybe I'm just being lazy. I just think it's kind of annoying. And that's why I kind of like draft, because people are like, what you pick is what you are stuck with. You've made your bed. You've got to lie in it. Renato Sanchez doing Renato Sanchez things, even though Konoplyanka is just nice bit of ball control here. And it falls to Mueller, to Renato Sanchez. He's in the box. He banks it home into the far corner in the 30th minute. I love this guy. Super bummed that EA are not seemingly doing a golden boy Renato Sanchez squad builder. The reason everybody seemed to think they would is because on EA Mobile, and that's a huge giveaway for me right there. I don't know why I was trying to do that, but you can see the 4-1-2-1-2. I jump in and am susceptible to the attacking mid two striker combo. If you dive against this formation, you will get beaten. It is one of those truths, life, death, and diving in with a 3-back will get you, will have it let fast strikers run by you. It's just a truth of FIFA. It's a truth of life this year, and I suppose in real life and in past years. And in general, diving in will allow space in behind, so don't do it. Obviously, I'm susceptible to it as well. Out wide of Varina, into Thomas Mueller. He nods home. Big fan of Thomas Mueller. Now, with that said, I ended up replacing him and in the weekend league. And that's not because I think he's bad, but I think it takes a different type of player. Like when you come up against a good player, I tend in my left forward and right forward positions to feel like I need a player with either a lot of pace or some skill moves to kind of compensate for that. So, there are players that have both of those. Like Mane is in form. I picked up as well and used him kind of as a super sub. Really, really enjoy using him, and he causes all sorts of problems. Is a great right forward in the 3-4-2-1. Not the man that I started though, so more to come on that later. Keita trying a little too much, but Renato Sanchez there to just clean it up. Right place, right time. Finds a pass to Thomas Muller, gets a little bit of free space. Bang, bang. Far corner. 3-1, 90th minute. Take a boo. That is his sweet spot shot for me. He is a great clinical finisher, though, in the game. You've got to give him that. I think he's a little bit lacking in the physicality department with the rest of his combination to just straight use him as a striker. I think he'll get an inform or two maybe later on this year, and then hopefully that card will be at striker, and then then we're talking. But for right now, his right forward card is great until you come up against some of the elite defenders, like Sergio Ramos, Jerome Boateng, players like that will, in the right hands, will eat Thomas Muller for breakfast because he's not going to outquick them. He is not going to out-physical them. Dribbling by them is going to be challenging unless they dive in, which we talked about. That's just a no-no. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to our Serie A squad and roll into another match. This squad has been a fitness squad for us, but has been relatively successful. I think it's about time to sell and switch it up and try a new fitness team. So I don't know which league we'll go to next for the fitness squad. If you have something that you would like to see or like to see a budget version of a side, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Maybe I'll just turn my Bundesliga side into a budget team and just leave Renato Sanchez in there and then spend the rest of the coins from selling the big name players and go out and build a Premier League team, because the Premier League team is coming. I feel really, really comfortable playing with that league this year. There are a lot of really, really strong options in all the different positions, so I don't feel like I'm overpaying this year, which is crazy, because generally in previous years, I'm like, I'm not paying that price. Like, there are overpriced players. Like, paying the price you pay for Paul Pogba this year, if I hadn't packed him, I just would not use him, right? Moussa Dembele is Paul Pogba light. He just is. They're very, very similar to me in game. A lot of times, I would find that Moussa Dembele outperforms Paul Pogba. But we'll go into that more in the squad review. So now, my midfield pairing, I'm just giving it all away to you guys. Whatever happened to a little bit of discretion. Anyways, this game, I believe it ended 0-0. He was a good player, had a good team. And at the half, I wanted to just show you, this is a game that I almost collapsed, right? Because I got frustrated. This is path to power. I'm using an aggressive attacking formation. And a lot of times, if things aren't working for me with this formation, whether it be 0-0, 1-1, whatever, I could be behind, I could be winning even still, I will go attacking or ultra attacking and leave my three defenders back and isolated and hope that I can clean up counterattacks because I want a goal. And that's just part of the reason that I really like this formation is I can get goals in bunches if I need to. Now, another one of the issues with this formation is that you have to stay focused all the time. And I mean all the time. When I lapse in controlling the game and start getting into a counter-oriented style, the advantage that I get from having four midfielders advantage from four midfielders and like a left forward and right forward and the overload and attack, that advantage goes away. Because then I'm attacking with my three attackers against his four defenders and you're able to just bypass the midfield. So even if he has just two guys in the midfield, it doesn't matter. I have less defenders than he would, and in a counter game, when you're bypassing the midfield like that, I'm giving him the advantage. So you have to consciously pay attention and think, okay, keep it slow this game down so I can actually make use of this and draw players out of position. Because if you switch, I guarantee you, if you try this formation and you think about it, starting an attack on the right side or the left side, whatever, how quickly, if you try to ping it back using all your left forward, right forward, CMs, striker, and get it over, your other outside mid on the far side is going to be overlapping and he's going to be wide open because defensively, teams just can't mark up against the overload. Coming up against this guy, he's got the Player of the Month, Heung-min Son, Gray, Faguli. It's a nice little side. This stadium makes me want to claw my eyes out. I don't know why it is so hard to see in this stadium, but it is just absolutely brutal, and I hate playing in it. I actually had somebody that tweeted me asking for my thoughts on this stadium, and I didn't know it was this one that he was talking about until I was watching this footage back. And he was like, I just quit out of games now if I come into this stadium. This is a ridiculous goal, by the way. How is that not a penalty? Referee! Perisic doing work, falls to Perisic, and on the volley, an absolute thunderbolt from, essentially the spot. Fortunate, yes. Did it feel like FIFA wanted me to score? Also, yes. Did I feel like I deserved a goal or at least a penalty chance? That's the third yes right there. So I'm not going to feel too fortunate right there, although the way that fell and his player's not really going for it was really, really nice. And you can see he definitely, it kind of affected him, and you'll see more on why in a second. That was a hard goal, I think, for him to give up. Allen managed to take away, but right back to his player, and then he starts trying to force it a little bit, right? That is what another benefit of the 3-4-2-1, and that's just so fortunate that it falls and Kalinic is running through, and then he just tries to push it forward. But one of the benefits 3-4-2-1 is if the counter's on, you also still have those three attackers where you can counter and take advantage of a team that's overcommitted. And you can see right here, he's just having a really, really rough time getting it out. And I'm kind of suffocating him, taking shots. It keeps going back to my players. And then the unlikeliest of scorers, Alan, puts it away in the 34th, making it 2-0. Which I was like, all right, that's pretty much game over. I found too with this formation, even if I am winning, if I go defensive, I leave huge gaps, and it's just not a good thing or a good idea to do. So I found that I still stayed on like attacking or not attacking, or at least on balanced while playing this formation. That was disappointing. But 90th minute, 2-0. That's where this is going to come to a close. A little bit shorter of an episode today, only around the, 15 to 17 minute mark, something like that. I can't remember what we put it at, but we will be back. I think I'm going to be going either for a late upload tonight with the squad review, or it'll be first thing tomorrow morning running through my Elite 2 weekend squad, which I was pretty darn happy with and proud of. But other than that, I want to say thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, a like or thumbs up is greatly appreciated. My name is Japes, and I will catch you all next time.